Well, good morning. Welcome to Harvest. Who's excited to be in church today? Who's excited that football is back? Now, just need to... Why were we more excited about the second than the first, Tim Lawrence? I mean, I'm just saying. Well, but I'm rooting. I'm hopeful. As Ted Lasso says, it's the hope that kills us, right? But soon we will have a high draft pick. That's all. Anyway, so as Aaron said there on the video, we're kicking off a brand new series called Find Your People, Love Your Neighbor. And let me just tell you, last night we had a great opportunity to love our neighbors here in McCordsville. We were at the party in the park just down the road, and for the third year in a row, we've had the privilege to be one of the sponsors. And last night, about 20 people from Harvest had the opportunity to serve anywhere between 600 and 700 cups of popcorn to folks hanging out there in the party in the park. There was also a bubble station, and I'll just say this. I mean, my wife's down in kids. She won't watch this until Tuesday, so she won't get mad until then. But she decided, hey, we need a bubble station. Like, we need something. Scott, we need the fun. We need to bring the fun. And I was like, popcorn's fun. Like, who doesn't like free popcorn? Like, you know? And she's like, no, we need something for the kids. So she orchestrated all this. She had bubble thingies and like and who doesn't love bubbles, right? But literally my favorite part of last night, other than talking to people, as you guys know, I love to talk, is to watch these kids. I mean, we had hundreds of kids just hanging out, and all it took was like a rope, 2 wands, and a 5-gallon bucket of bubble stuff, right? And these kids, their giggles, their laughter, their smiles. And here's the thing. If we get known as the church who just deals out hope and joy and laughter to kids, you know what? We win, right? And so it was a great night. It was awesome. I will say this. I did get mad at my daughter because she went to just, quote, find me food. So I made the mistake. I gave a 12, next week she'll be 13, a 13-year-old my debit card, and I said, find me food. And she came back with the worst tacos I've ever eaten in my life. All it was 2 corn tortillas, a bunch of steak, and a little bit of cheese. And the steak was cold, people. And it's like, this is not good. So I took one bite, threw it away. That was a waste of $13. But anyway, here at Harvest, we want to help as many people as we can live a full life with Jesus. You hear this often. We talk about it a lot. We want to help as many people as we can live a full life with Jesus. And we believe that the best possible life that you can live comes when you do 3 certain things, or when you live life 3 certain ways. And over the next 3 weeks, as we talk in this series, Find Your People, Love Your Neighbor, we are going to be exploring the best possible way to live, and that is with Jesus, in community, and on mission. Today we're going to be looking at a passage of Scripture in Mark chapter 10. Mark chapter 10, if you have a Bible, go ahead and grab that, or maybe a Bible app. It's also going to be on the screen behind me. But at this moment in the book of Mark, in chapter 10, we see that Jesus is really, really popular. Like, people are following him. He's got a crowd walking with him. And he comes to this town called Jericho. And he's going to encounter this guy who is blind. Now, it's really, really interesting here because, and you might be a Bible nerd like me, but what happens is we get his name. We get this guy's name, and we don't get everybody's name that Jesus heals, but we get him. And it says this, starting in verse 46. It says, then they came to Jericho. So this is Jesus, his posse. They're kind of walking, and they're coming into the town of Jericho. And as Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man named Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus, was sitting on the roadside begging. Now, I want us to get this picture in our mind. Everybody, well, most of us, have gotten off of 465 right there at Keystone at the crossing, and we've taken that little right, and you see Ruth Christ's there, and then you see the old church, and Yeah, everybody's turning left. I mean, nobody goes to Nora Plaza, but everybody's seeing, what's going on. And we've all been there, where the guy with the sign, and it says something, but you're like, I got to avoid contact. Like, if I see eyes with him, I'm stuck giving him a $5, right? Or maybe a couple, in our minds, there's this thing that happens, and we've all seen the beggars. That's what Jesus is encountering here. And when he heard that it was Jesus, when Bartimaeus, when he heard that it was Jesus, he began to shout, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Now, again, picture this. Like he's not driving, right? He's not driving in his car. He doesn't have Forrest Frank like blaring. Like he's just walking. Jesus is just walking along, and as he's leaving the city, this is what he hears. Now, many people rebuked Bartimaeus and told him, shut up. That's the healer. That's Jesus. Like, don't bother him, right? Told him to be quiet. But he shouted all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stopped and said, hey, call him over here. Like, let me just get his story. Now, many of us in here, we've read this. We've read through it. Maybe you do a Bible reading plan and you get to it about, middle of October, maybe early November. You're getting into the New Testament at that point, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Bartimaeus. And we read this, but for some reason, and it's so incredibly difficult for me, and I'll share a little bit more later, but every time that I come across a story of someone with blindness in the New Testament, when it takes a different path for me. Because early 2000s, we'll say, a little girl entered my life. I have a niece. Her name is Caitlin. She's sitting over here in the back row, and it makes it a little bit harder because she's here. When she was about 4 months old, 5 months old, maybe 6, we found out that she was born blind. And so when I read the story of Bartimaeus, it reads different. Does that make sense? Like I understand the emotion behind Bartimaeus' plea. Jesus, Son of David, would you do it? Hey, look at me over here. Please give me my life back, right? And he's a beggar. He's got nobody. What's interesting about Bartimaeus, and why I find it interesting that we get his name, is because we also get his dad's name, Timaeus. And here's the thing. Old man Tim, his boy Bart, right? He ends up on the side of the road. And I want you to feel this. I want you to feel this because Bartimaeus is someone's son. Just like you are someone's son or you are someone's daughter, your parents, you know what, they may have passed away, but when you were born, there was hope. There was dreams, there was joy, there was this anticipation about your life, about the fact that you were born. And for many of us, if there wasn't, that could be part of our wound, and I understand that. But for most of us, we had this celebration when we came into this world. There was joy. People were telling stories. They have so many ugly pictures of you as a baby that they show everybody, right? And listen, if that wasn't your story, guess what? We are so happy that you were born. We are so incredibly happy that you are here and that you are part of Harvest. And so hear me. There is celebration about the simple fact that you are alive and you are here with us. Hear me on that. Now, back to Bart. We don't know if Bartimaeus was born blind or if he had a degenerative disease that ended up making him blind through the years. But we know that here is Bartimaeus, and he is on the road, and he is begging. And here's the thing, as I reflected this week and as I have processed the story about 5 or 6 different ways about how I wanted to preach it, I've wondered this. Is it better if everybody knows your issue? Is it better if you have a physical issue and everybody knows what you have? Or is it better if you suffer in silence? For Bartimaeus, they see him and they know that his issue is blindness. And they see the one thing in his life that if he had the opportunity, he would change that. I mean, he wishes things were different. And many of us, we have issues, we have stuff, we have things going on in our life, and nobody knows. And we suffer in silence, don't we? We suffer, and we don't want anybody to know the weight that we carry. We don't want anybody to know the addiction that we have. We don't want anybody to know the things that mull around, that cause our mental health strife in our life. And now, listen, many of us, we came to church at one point in our life, and we believed that we needed to be perfect, and we said, you know what, we're going to make sure that all of our I's are dotted, all of our T's are crossed, but here's the reality. I've said it before, I'll say it again. All of us have stuff, y'all. All of us have stuff that we deal with. And here's the thing. You might have told yourself the story that, man, if I ever go to church, if I ever walk into a church, you know what, lightning may strike me on a sunny day. Listen, that is not the way that God's grace works. The reality of it is that we all are dealing with things. We all have problems. We all have struggles that we wish we didn't have. Some people's are just very, very public. But many of us, we suffer in silence, don't we? And I don't have time to go through all of the stuff that all of us carry and all of the different examples, but I will say this. All of us carry around some weight, don't we? All of us have a backpack with stuff, and some of us have gone through therapy for them. Some of us are in therapy right now for the things that we're dealing with. Some of you might be talking with lawyers. Other of you, you're navigating what does this look like with kids, or maybe you have a 13-year-old daughter. Enough said. Actually, she's a joy, and it's great being her dad. But teenagers, they're hard. They're hard to parent. Maybe for you, it's not a teenager yet. Maybe for you, it's, you know what, you're trying to navigate kids, or, you know what, we're potty training the other one. But what do we do? What do we do, or how do we navigate the problems that we have? I mean, what are we doing to help offload or carry the weight that we deal with, right? And I think for us, I think Bartimaeus gives us a roadmap, or really this viewpoint that shows us how to change our lives actually in one day. See, in verse 46, Bartimaeus is begging. He is literally on the side of the road, and the only thing he has to his name is probably his cup and his cloak, or his tunic, his outer garment. That's it. That's all the man owns. And notice, all of the years of begging, and I'm assuming that he's been here for a while, all of his begging never led to freedom in his life. He never had financial freedom. He never was self-sustaining. He never could get ahead in life. He was stuck in a cycle of, please, thank you. Please, thank you. And he never got freedom. And this is where some of us feel that we are. We feel like nobody gets us, that I'm alone, that nobody understands what I'm going through. And all of us have been there a time or two, that nobody can realize. And here is Bart, and he is going, you know what? All I got are the guys that beg. That's my community. I'm just around other beggars. And here's the thing. When we live in a life that says, oh, nobody gets me, oh, I'm just stuck, you know what that's called? It's called a victim mindset. And as long as you live in that place, you will never experience freedom, because a victim mentality always keeps you stuck. Now, His mindset doesn't push him forward, and there comes a day when everything changes. In verse 47, it says this: when he heard that it was Jesus, he began to shout, right? So Bart, he's been stuck for a while, and then Jesus passes by, and he's like, hey, I need to get your attention, bro. And he decided, you know what? And this is one of the things that I think oftentimes we miss when it comes to a relationship with Jesus. I think sometimes we miss when it comes to our spiritual life. We literally are sitting around waiting for God to do everything. But what does Bartimaeus do? He takes a step. Just one. And he calls out to Jesus. And some of us in here, we just need to take a step forward. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that we're the ones that save ourselves. I'm not saying any of that, right? I'm just saying that some of us, we have been stuck for so long that we need to take just one step forward. Here's the thing. Maybe for you, it's in your marriage. You need to take just one step closer to your spouse. Maybe for you, it's in parenting your kids, or maybe with your adult children, you need to take a step toward them. Here's what I know. Bartimaeus, he wasn't sitting on the side of the road Googling his symptoms. He wasn't on WebMD going, how to heal blindness, right? Like, he wasn't at 2 a.m. trying to go, you know what, my back hurts and I have cramps in my hamstrings. What's going on? Well, okay, you're low on electrolytes, right? No. He saw Jesus and he said, this is my chance. This is my opportunity. And what does he ask for? Does he say, Jesus, Son of David, heal me? Jesus, hey, have mercy on me. And at this point, I mean, he's hollering, he's making a scene. People are going, no, you need to stop yourself over here, bub, right? And people have pushed Bartimaeus aside probably most of his life. But then a guy named Jesus shows up. And Jesus says, hey, call him over here. So they called to the blind man. Cheer up. On your feet. He's calling you. And this is nuts to me. Throwing his cloak aside. Throwing the one thing that he owned. The one thing to his name. He is literally leaving everything else in his life behind. It says, he jumped to his feet and he came to Jesus. Now, when was the last time that we actually jumped to our feet ready to get to Bible reading in the morning? Like, let's be honest, I try my best to read the Bible every single morning, but I wake up groggy about 6:30. You do your business in the bathroom, you head downstairs, you make yourself a cup of coffee, and literally it's like, what am I here for? Like, what? And I'm holding my phone here. Here, I'll do it this way. Because I read my Bible on my phone, and it's like, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. And it takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to get going in the morning and all of that stuff. I get to it, and I'm doing chronological Bible in a year, and so I'm there, and I don't jump to my feet to get to Jesus. I don't. But think about this. This guy knows, Bartimaeus knows that this is his chance. And here's the thing. The cloak, his outer jacket, his garment, it's probably tattered and torn. It's probably years old. It's one of those, it probably has a very distinct smell to it. And here's the thing. The way that their cloaks were, they were trying to make sure that people knew that they were beggars. Think about that. Here's his jacket. Here's his cloak. Here's the one thing that identifies himself as a beggar. He throws it off and he heads towards Jesus. And here's the thing. Jesus asks Bartimaeus a crazy question. And it's a question I think that many of us, we would love for Jesus to ask us. But I want you to process, what would your answer be if you were face to face with Jesus and you got this. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked. Bartimaeus, you got my attention, bud. Like you were yelling, you're hollering, hey, Jesus, have mercy on me. You threw your garment, you ran, you got to. What do you want? What a moment. I mean, can you imagine, like, if this was an episode of Chosen, which I haven't watched, so I don't know if it is, it's got to be like a tearjerker moment, right? He's got the attention of the miracle worker. He's got Jesus' attention. And his response is very, very simple. I want to see. Now, I'm just going to be very, very candid, vulnerable, and honest with you. For nearly 25 years of my life, we have prayed this prayer over that girl back there. God, would you heal her eyes? Would you give her a chance to see her cousins? And there has been technology that's come along, and we've hoped and we've hoped and we've hoped. But still, she can't see. And the thing is, I read stories like this, and I go, God, you can do it. Jesus, we know you are the healer. We know you have the ability. God, would you? There have been different seasons in my life where I've gotten upset. I've gotten angry. I've gotten just frustrated with God that it happened in an instant for a beggar named Bartimaeus. And I get it. We all have the thorns of our flesh and things like that. Here's the thing. Bartimaeus, he got the opportunity. He got the chance. He got the chance to be right in front of Jesus. And he took his shot, and Jesus said, what do you want? He says, I want to see, Jesus. Please, Rabbi, I want to see. And for Bartimaeus, this wasn't just his feel good. This wasn't just, that feeling when you find $5 on the ground and you're like, hey, sweet, I can't really buy anything anymore for $5, but hey, I got a $5, No. What happens in the next moments of Bartimaeus' life changes the trajectory of his tomorrows forever. I mean, think about this. In verse 52, everything in Bartimaeus' life changes in an instant. Jesus says, go, your faith has healed you. Bartimaeus has one encounter with the healer, with the miracle worker, and his future is changed. And many of us have been stuck on the side of the road in our lives, haven't we? I mean, many of us, we have been going through just the proverbial crap of life over and over and over again. And so many people, they try to fill it. They try to fill their life with so many different things. Maybe it's been an alcohol addiction. Maybe it's been a drug addiction. Maybe it's a sex addiction. Whatever it could be to numb the pain of life. But let me tell you this. There is only one thing. There is only one thing that can fill that God-shaped hole in every single one of our hearts, and his name is Jesus. And here's the thing. That's why we as a church have designed everything that we do around the fact that we want you to live a full life with Jesus. Because here's the thing. I don't believe that you can live a full life outside of a relationship with Jesus Christ. Because Jesus and Jesus alone is what fills us up to be able to live this thing called life. Because when you get a diagnosis that you can do nothing about to change, there is only one person that can give you hope in that moment. His name is Jesus, and nothing else in this world can satisfy. Everything else will be a cheap substitute. And so here at Harvest, we really have three statements. I already said it. With Jesus, in community, and on mission. Those are the three things that we have designed everything that we do. And the first one, you know what? It is the most important. Because you can have community. You can join a golf club. You can join different, social clubs, but you won't have this thing called biblical community. Yes, you can have a mission, or you can have a job that is, one of those that's mentally challenging. But when you find out what your purpose is in this life, and you are actually moving other people towards a life with Jesus, guess what? It invigorates you. There is something that happens inside of you that changes. And so, a life with Jesus is the best possible life you can live, period, full stop. And that's what Bartimaeus experienced, because Jesus tells him, hey, go. Like, you're free. Like, you have experienced freedom in your life. Your faith has healed you. And we don't know if Bartimaeus, if it took him like 12 minutes, like if it was like cataract surgery where, I got to, I imagine it was boom. He can see, right? But listen to what happens. Second part of verse 52. It says, immediately he received his sight, right? And followed Jesus along the road. Think about that. Bartimaeus didn't go back to begging. Bartimaeus didn't go pick up his cloak. He didn't go pick up his former life. He didn't go back here, and he didn't go pick up all the stuff. He didn't even go pick up his change cup, nothing. Immediately, he received his sight, and he followed Jesus along the road. One of the things I think we often miss when reading the New Testament is that it wasn't just the 12 disciples chilling with Jesus all the time. There was a giant crowd everywhere that he went. And Bartimaeus receives his sight, and he begins to walk with Jesus. He is following him. He is hearing his teachings. And literally, he was adopted into a community. That second piece of the triangle, or the second piece, that in community piece. Bartimaeus experienced that. And here's the thing. The way that we do that around here is, number one, this. But we like to break it down a little bit more. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more next week, what community looks like here. But the beautiful thing for Bartimaeus is he no longer had to go through life alone. He was no longer sitting on the side of the road with his cup out asking other people. No. He was adopted into a family. And here's the thing. When you decide, you know what, I'm going to live my life with Jesus, it's the best possible way to live, guess what? Guess what you get in return? You get the church. You get this beautiful group of messed up people called the church. And that's why I'm so glad that today, after service, we're going to have a pitch-in where we all just sit around and we can eat pulled pork until our bellies look like mine. And that was funny. You guys can laugh. It's okay. I'm fat. It's good. But we're adopted into this family. We're adopted into a group of people. And listen, at Harvest, there are absolutely no perfect people here. We know that because we know each other. But here's what we do want. We want each other to rub shoulders with one another. That's why we do things like men's group on Tuesday nights. That's why we do things like women's group. We want each other to be known. And I was talking with a guy last night, and lo and behold, he had a golf hoodie on, and so it struck up like, hey, did you go to that tournament? No, I played in it. And I was like, huh? So we ended up, he's like, no, I played the Monday after. I was like, okay, you're not good at golf. It's great. So anyway, we're chatting back and forth, and he was telling me about the church that he went to, and it's a great church, and he loves it. And he said, but here's the thing. It's really, really big, and so I can just slip in and slip out. And that's when, like, it's like, ooh, I get my opportunity. Like, I get to talk about how great Harvest is, right? I said, well, here's the thing. At Harvest, we're not the biggest church in the area. But our secret weapon at Harvest is simply this. When you walk through those doors, you're going to be greeted. You're going to be talked to. You're going to be, and here's the word, known. You cannot come to Harvest in anonymity. And that is our greatest asset as a church our size. And here's the thing. I love the fact that everybody who's new, they can't, I don't get to ever be the first person to greet somebody because, you know what? Everybody gets to them because they want people to be known. And you know what that's called? It's called belonging. And all of us are searching for this thing called belonging. And here's the thing, for Bartimaeus, yes, he was healed. But you know what it brought? It brought this thing called freedom because he experienced this thing called the church. And man, when we get to experience what it's like to be loved, to be cared for, to belong, man, our lives change. And that's where we're going to pick up next week in part 2 of Find Your People, Love Your Neighbor. Let me pray for us. Heavenly Father, I thank you for Jesus. I thank you for the many, many lives that you have changed in this place, the many lives that you have changed across the world. And Lord, for the folks in here who they know that all it takes is just one encounter with Jesus. Maybe today is the day where they encounter Jesus differently. And so, if that's you, if you're in here and you're like, you know what? I want a sense of that freedom. I want a touch from the miracle worker. I know that my life would be so much different if I just trusted him with my life. If I decided, if I made the decision, you know what? I'm not perfect. All I need to do is live with Jesus. If that's you today, I want to invite you to just pray a simple prayer and invite Jesus into your life. You can just pray. Jesus, I know I'm not perfect. I know you're not asking me to be perfect. But I know that I have sin in my life. Would you come and would you heal me of my sin? I want to live my life with you, Jesus. From this day forward, I'm leaving the stuff behind, and I want to follow you. In Jesus' name. If that was you, man, I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to get the opportunity to just talk about what that means, what baptism looks like. And today, as we take up our offering, these buckets will be passed. You can slip offerings or connection cards in there if you want. Completely, it's totally voluntary. But next week, I can't wait to talk about what it means to live in community